Hi, everyone, and welcome to Creatives Connect. This is a space where creative people interested in spirituality and healing and connection come together and we share our words with each other. We connect because sometimes life can be quite hard for creatives and we can sometimes get very much in our own head and think we're all alone. Maybe we have health problems or money problems and we don't know where to turn, who is looking after the creative. So I saw this gap in what was happening for me as well. I felt like there wasn't necessarily the support for people like me who maybe think a bit differently, act a bit differently, want to share, want to express. So I decided to create this group called Creatives Connect, and also through my business, Creative Hearts, I also provide one-on-one workshops and events. So tonight we have a very special guest with us, Samy Jay from NOMNOY Living. Welcome, Samy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's very hot. I love that. I love myself in the background with the
Oh,
hot.
can you see that? That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. So, it's hot tonight. So just keep yourself cool. If you need a drink at any time, just you can. And yeah, we'll get started. So I'm just going to do a little breathing to get us centered, a little meditation, and then we will go to Samy. So just closing your eyes if you want to, or you can keep them open. And just taking a deep breath in and out. Tonight's session is about the power of the pause. So many of us spend a lot of time busy creating or busy trying to fix things in our life, trying to sort things out. Maybe we have children or family that we have to deal with. Just for this moment, just for today, leave all those things just for one moment. You can come back to them. But right now, we are going to pause and just focus on your breathing, on this moment right now. Listen to the sounds around you. What can you hear? Feel your body. Maybe you're sat on a chair. What can you feel? Maybe you've eaten something. I can taste strawberries from earlier on, or somebody's coming in. Let me just let them in. See what you can taste or smell. Just become aware. And know that you're supported right now. In this group, we're all here to support each other, connect with each other, and just tune into the group right now. And imagine they're sat next to you in a circle, and we're all smiling, looking at each other, saying hello. And you can just roll your shoulders back. You can start to open your eyes, maybe roll your neck. Just get really comfy in your seat. Maybe do a bit of a stretch. Oh, and just put yourself on mute if you can. So, unless you're speaking. So I don't know if I can mute everyone. So Samy, welcome. I'm so grateful that you are here today. And I feel the love from my heart to yours. I'm just super grateful for our friendship because I feel, even though we've only had a few conversations, but they have been long, deep conversations. And we've shared our soul. I feel like we've shared our soul with each other. And that's why I feel really like powerful energy right now coming from your heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this.
For everyone, and for then inviting all these amazing people that you've had already.
Yes,
So I'm honoured to be a part of that.
thank you. So, can you speak a little bit about the reason why you're here today? What brought you to this place where you decided that you needed to share this work, and in specifically the power of the pause?
So I suppose the best thing to do is start with what NOMNOY means. So NOMNOY stands for nourishment on me equals nourishment on you. And it's an ethos, it's a concept. It's not mine, it's for the world. But the more we nourish ourselves, the more we turn up as the best versions ourselves, the more we allow others the space to do the same. But also it was a concept for myself that any product, service or space that you hire or purchase or buy through NOMNOY will have a meal donation. So for example, we've got something called the Field Shield, which is one of the jewellery pieces that's an energy protection pendant. It's only £8 and each one will donate 2 meals. And we work at the moment hand-holding with other charities, but we're hoping to get Million-Meals as a registered charitable trust before the end of this year. Zara's helping me with that actually, so thank you very much for being on with me today, Zara. And the idea is that whatever you do through NOMNOY, whatever you purchase through us, you'll always be nourishing another anyway. But as you do things like we have self-love workshops, for example, the more you love yourself, you're going to love others. So it really feeds into that concept. And even things like pausing, just taking a moment in your day is nourishment for you, but it has a massive impact on the others around you when you're feeling in your best space. Because you're also then responding rather than reacting, for example, when you take a pause in the middle of lots of different things. So, I mean, I love to share this work wherever I go. I think we debated for a little while as well. Oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to talk about self-love? Because I do a lot of self-love talks. And I haven't actually done, I've given this talk before about 3 years ago, almost. And I thought maybe it's time to dig that out again, because even myself have been taking moments to go, oh yeah, where is the power come from in my day-to-day? It's from the pause. So I thought it would be a really nice thing to share. And also I love doing experiential talks where, okay, you get given some information, but how can I now integrate that in with myself? How can I make that about what I can now? So when I say I mean you know, it's great hearing people talk and sharing knowledge, and I'm all about sharing knowledge and expanding. But today, for example, my gratitude was for my brain, not only to be the sponge to absorb the knowledge, but also to then process it and then be able to apply it. So I wanted to do some experiential talking with you today, where I'll go through, funnily enough, similar to what you've just done. And it's really funny that we haven't planned any of that. It's like, oh, this is great. It's going to feed into what I'm doing in a bit. Just so that people, hopefully you leave today having not just gained some knowledge, but also some practical skills that you can take into day to day. And then whatever I've done to nourish myself, I then nomnoid you. And that's where terms like a nomnoid and nomnoyer and nomnoying come from. So Zara's a fellow nomnoyer because she's very good at nourishing herself and then nourishing others through it. And so then I love the term hashtag nomnoid. Because when somebody shares something you know, like we're in a lot of these different groups, for example, in the different WhatsApp groups, and sometimes somebody shares something. You've done it often, Gemma, and then that's somehow how we've had chats, you
Yeah.
know, where someone's just shared something that just lit their soul up for the day, then it lights yours up too. That is exactly what NOMNOY is. You shared something that nourished you, and now it's nourished somebody else. What could be better in this world?
Yeah.
We're all NOMNOYers, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that concept of, when you nourish yourself and when you share that nourishment with other people, that then creates this, I guess, like a wave effect or a butterfly effect where other people feel nourished as well.
Definitely. All about paying it forward. And I'm also a massive believer that yes, we're all special. So I don't want to say we're not special. Like when people ask me, how do you do as many things as you do? It's not because I'm special. Yes, I'm special in my own way, as is everyone. But actually, we all have these gifts. We all have these powers. It's just about finding the route to get to it and what makes us tick that then lights us up to take those steps. And that's what I'm very keen on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like we all have that power of being able to pause within ourselves. We don't need to necessarily get it from the outside. And we're always trying to
And not
find.
necessarily with pausing, but
Mm,
more just any of our gifts, any of the things that we do. Anybody is capable of doing anything. We are the only limitation to anything we want to do. And then that's also very important, what we want to do.
yeah.
What makes us tick, what lights us up. But it's about finding the pathway there. And through like finding the pathway there is then things like the technique of the pause that can help us to get to that space.
Yes. And I do want to say, like, sometimes it does feel like there are a lot of limitations. And I don't think it's not negating anything that may be happening, money problems, health problems, relationship problems, but it's about if we can pause in those. Well, I'm saying what it's about, but obviously you will explain more about how you see it. But I just wanted to give a little bit of how I suppose it's benefited my life is that the more I pause, the more I get shown what I'm supposed to do or
Wow.
where I'm supposed to go or who I'm supposed to contact. And it is quite amazing the things that can happen when you listen to that voice inside that's telling you, message Samy or message Chris or message Nadim or whoever it is that you need to contact. It's like if you follow that voice, your life will expand.
100%.
And that's why
The
I do.
power of it.
Yes, the power of it. That's why I do find your voice sessions because it's so much more than singing,
Yeah.
speaking. It's about tuning into that voice that guides us when we're writing a song or when we're speaking to an audience, you know?
100%.
And even just talking to a friend, it gives you that confidence that you know what to say when your friend's going through something because you don't have to worry about it or think, oh God, what if I don't have the right words? It's like, well, I know that I can just listen, pause, and then the right words will come. Yeah. And that's why
Absolutely.
we haven't prepared this session because I don't know, we're both busy and that's part of it. We have prepared though. This is the thing is you do your preparation through the dedication to the work. So both of us we've had long conversations before, so that was our preparation, I feel. And we
Definitely.
both practice it. We practice it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go round the group. Well, anyone can put their hand up and unmute, or I will unmute. I don't know how it works, but if you would like to share who you are, why you're here, what you'd like to get out of the session, and also you can share whereabouts you are. I know we shared that earlier as well on the chat. But just share a little bit about your creative journey. If you want to share about your business, this is the place, this is the time. Just keep it brief because we've got a lot to get through. But yeah, just anyone that would like to share, just put your hand up. And also, if you have anything that you would like Samy to talk about or myself, you can share. But we will have questions later after Samy's talk as well. So who would like to go first?
You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, go on.
Hi everyone. I'm Samy, if you weren't here 10 seconds ago. Samy Jay. Find me on Facebook and Instagram under Samy Jay and NOMNOY Living. I am a certified crystal practitioner, an angelic Reiki master. I have a crystal jewellery line. I run empowerment workshops. I use crystals, do crystal paintings. Got one here to show you in case you wanted to see one. And there we go. One of them. And I love to be creative. I find it a wonderful way to express myself. And I really, really enjoy connecting with other creatives and finding how we can collaborate with different things. And I am extremely excited to be here and have the opportunity to share so we can all expand. That's me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Samy. Who is next?
Can I go next? I want to say thank you to you both. I've known Samy a few months, is it, or is it longer? And yeah, we've done some
Couple of years now, Audrey. That's how time flies.
Are you joking? And unfortunately, I'm not going to be here that long, but I wanted to come and support Samy and also to listen to her wisdom. So yeah. Yeah, for people who don't know me, I do complementary therapies and healing, help people transform their lives basically. So thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. And next. Siobhan. How do I mute?
Hi.
Oh,
Hello.
you can just unmute yourself. Yeah, go on.
So,
oh, you've paused. Not sure why that's happened. I've frozen. I think mine's frozen.
I can see you, Siobhan.
okay.
Oh, there you are. It's on now. It just froze for a minute.
That's cool. Yeah, so my name's Siobhan. I'm a coach and holistic practitioner in Sheffield. I'm friends with a few people here, Jemma, Audrey, Chris. And I've not actually done much networking for quite some time. I've been quite focused on working for a women's charity in the past kind of year or so. And I'm just wanting to connect again, catch up with people, hear about other people's businesses and how, we can connect with each other. I'm big on connection. So, and it's nice to be here. Thank you, Jemma, for putting this together.
Thank you. And yes, Siobhan has been a fantastic friend, coach, and person in my life. And she's also published a book just recently called Words of the Wise. And I feature in it, Audrey features in it. I don't know if anyone else does in this group, but I know some people watching the replay may also be in that book, which I have some copies over here. So if anyone would like a copy, I have like a full box. They're also available on Amazon or through Siobhan, or I don't know if Audrey has any copies, but this is the book. And yeah, it's just wisdom from awakening journey. So it's a women's anthology, so there's all different stories and poetry, and it's a beautiful piece of work. So I just thought I'd drop that one in there. If anyone wants a copy, just let me know, or Siobhan, or anyone else that's in the book. So thank you, Siobhan. And next.
Yes, sorry, right. I'm Chris, and I'll tell you a little bit about my business. It's called Market Together, and I'm a marketing coach. And you might think, oh, marketing, that's not terribly creative. But actually, that's the problem with marketing. Too many people who are in business see marketing as a sort of bolt-on. They want to do something, and marketing is one of the things they have to do in order to do what they want to do. And that basically means that you're never going to get your head around it at all. And really, marketing should be a part of what you do and integrated whole. So I'm sure Jemma, well, hopefully Jemma won't mind me saying that this group is part of her marketing, but it's seamless.
Yeah.
And a great tool for helping you to integrate your marketing into your business and your life is storytelling. So that's what I do. And just to give you a couple of examples of the more creative side of what I do, because I do say my main interest is in helping people to tell their own stories, but I do some storytelling myself, and I shall track down the links for this. But I'm currently publishing one a week, a series of blog posts about Sheffield, which is the city where I live. And you might not be interested in Sheffield. Nobody will blame you if you're not interested in Sheffield. But the context in which we live and work is a part of us. And what I'm trying to show in these blog posts is how living and moving around my city is a part of me, and there's a relationship between me and my city. And I think that applies to all of us. You're free to disagree, but that's what that's all about. And I'll put the link for that in. The other one I haven't got a link for yet, but I'm working on a series of blog posts which will follow on about folklore and artificial intelligence, which might sound like a very peculiar combination. But one of my arguments is that all this stuff that we're hearing in the news about how artificial intelligence is going to destroy the whole of the human race and all of that sort of stuff, it's not new. It's been going on for thousands of years. And AI is just the latest iteration of a whole lot of things that's been going on in terms of us and the way we conceive of other intelligences. Jeanette Winterson calls them alternative intelligence, which I think is a better definition of AI, but I'm desperately trying not to confuse people. And I've worked out how to have a conversation with ChatGPT for these posts. And at the moment, I'm finding ChatGPT is a bit too polite. But apparently, if you go on to ChatGPT on Bing, there's a button you can press to make it cheeky. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm hoping that I will have a conversation with a cheeky ChatGPT, and of course I can then be the sensible one. I'm not sure whether that'll work, but anyway, but we can be creative, and this is a new tool. AI is a new tool, and some of us will love it, and some of us will hate it, and some of us will never even think about it. But there we go. That's enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Also, Chris does host a telling business making stories, or is it the other way around? Telling stories making
telling
business.
stories making business. Yeah, if you have a business or a charity or anything like that, and you'd like to have a go at telling a story that is relevant or might be relevant to your business, and getting feedback not just from me but from a few other business owners, then we can have a chat and get it set up, as long as you're free on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Not allowed to tell stories any other day of the week. Yeah.
Highly recommend. That's where I first told my story. I tried it out, so that was very, very helpful to get a sense of how I could use my own life experiences to help other people, and also to spread awareness of my business and what I was doing my songwriting, my writing, whatever may need that storytelling aspect to it. Okay, who's next? Just if you can kind of get ready to go, like, before the person starts speaking, if there is anyone else that would like to go as well. Yes? Okay, see you soon, Audrey. Okay. Yeah, off you go, Sarah.
Hi, thank you. So, thank you very much to Samy and Jemma for this evening of bringing us together. Basically, I'll turn up for anything Samy has to say because I think she's very wise and just has a beautiful energy. So I'm really, really grateful to be here and really looking forward to being reminded of the power of my pauses, because that's something that is so easy to forget. Even though we think we pause all the time, we don't really. So there's a real skill and art to it. With regard to sort of me, on a life sabbatical, as it were, at the moment, so this is probably the right place to be to test it out. I used to be in the corporate world and now have taken a right turn, and I call it a right turn because I think it is, into the creative world. And so I'm writing, and I think I'm amongst fellow writers here as well, and storytellers. And I'm trying my hand at writing about things which are very relevant to my life experience at the moment, which is grief and caring, the caring journey for unpaid carers. And I do some volunteer work with Carers UK, and just giving a voice, I think, to those experiences, to give hope, to share. I think that's part of my purpose here, is what I'm sort of gleaning from my sort of mini spiritual awakening, I guess, over the last couple of years, that there's something to be coming out of this, and it's a conversation that we need to have. So that's me. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you. Anyone else who would like to share a bit about themselves? You don't have to run a business or anything like that. You can just speak from your heart. But if you'd like to share about your business, now is the time as well. We will have some question and answer as well after this, so you can share on that as well. Anyone else? If not, we will go straight to Samy. Yeah, I think that's everyone that wants to share, unless if you do, just type in the chat. Samy, off you go.
Thanks. So guys, we're talking about the power of the pause. The first thing we want to explore here is, what does the word pause even mean? And the dictionary definition is a small break, to interrupt action, or to stop something temporarily. Now, we can apply that in so many different ways. So I'm going to just start telling you how I've applied the pause in my life, and then we're going to go through some experiences on how we can apply it for ourselves, and we'll go through a couple of practices just now. So I forgot to put in my intro that I'm also a public speaking trainer. I've done a million different things, guys, but I've also been a public speaking trainer, having worked for the Prince's Trust and their Young Ambassador Scheme. And as a public speaking trainer, I use the power of the pause for various things. Firstly, when I'm doing public speaking, sometimes a pause allows the space for things to sink in. And I've just done that with you now. I've paused in between my speaking so that I'm clear, my diction is there, and I'm giving space for the words to go in. So that could be one of the ways. It also can give you an ability to think of your next line. And somebody mentioned earlier, I take a pause because then I know what my next thing to do is. And Jemma, you said it You know, so that's how I sometimes get my inner guidance. So in the public speaking realm, a lot of people tend to go, while they're thinking of the next one. Whereas a pause not only is so much more powerful for the audience because they're not hearing the we're not filling the space, and we're giving space to say, actually, there's this. She says. So finding your way out of the is one of the most powerful things you can do for your public speaking. And this is where, so I could have used just now as my gap to the next thing, but by pausing, I've given space instead. And now that means that what I've said has had better impact. So that's something that is much better. It's much better than I should say. And is something that we do very naturally. It's because while we're thinking, we're using a filler. So it's about, and it's practice. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's something we can easily fall back into. I definitely have had that myself, as you will see during the course of this. Then we have as a healer. So as a healer, I use the power of the pause. So this temporary break, or a small break, or just a temporary stop, to allow healing to integrate. Sometimes we need the space for our body to integrate what has shifted or cleared or come up during the healing. We need a space to process it. We need a pause. If the healing continues, there's no space in between. It's why a lot of healers will tell you to take some time and some rest after a healing session, to not do anything extraneous, because really you're taking a pause out of your normal busy day-to-day running around. So that pause is now defined differently. It's not just a stop in the thinking or the action. It might even just be a pause that is defined differently. So this is also what brings me to the idea of, what does a pause even mean to you? It's not just about that dictionary definition, but actually going back to it. If we're temporarily stopping something, it might just be that we're temporarily stopping the busyness and slowing down. And that's pausing. That's a version of pausing. That's a powerful pause. She says, now I'm going to hear it every time I say it. It's going to be hilarious. And it's a way for us to absorb the healing that's happening as well. So that's a lot of the time where a healer might be able to use the power of the pause. As a coach, I use the power of the pause with my clients to give them some space, to delve into their own thoughts, to come up with their real answers, to really strip back and allow that time. If you've asked a question, to then pause and allow that to sink in and allow that person to have their time to process. It's also massively important in the coaching side because everybody processes really differently. So by taking a pause, we can give people the space to process in a way that they may need to. Might not be, my brain works at 70 million miles an hour. So I have to pause because otherwise I'm going to go straight in, and that might not necessarily be how somebody else needs the interaction to happen. Then I get to this great bit of like, how do I use the power of the pause as a human living my life? So that's where I move to the moments in my day, space to recalibrate. You know, how do I tap into my thoughts of what's next? How do I use my intuition? The power of the pause is massive for the intuition. And that's where I was laughing when you said it earlier, Jemma, because this is when that taking that second, it could be as simple as, right, I've got a cup of water. Right now, in the middle of this speech, I'm just going to take a pause. I'm going to allow my thoughts to sink back in. I'm going to recalibrate myself. I'm going to have time for integration of what I might have said to sink into the audience members. I might have to think of what am I going to say next, now that I've got past this section of my talk. So how can we take what I call a pot? I call it the power of pause, I call it a pot in the day. And how it helps us in our daily lives is down to our individual selves. And how it helps you will again be how you process things, what you find helpful. Someone might find it very helpful to stop and have a glass of water, somebody might not. Somebody might find it really helpful to concentrate on the breath or do a bit of meditating. Some people don't respond to that. So this is very much about being on that journey of what makes you tick, because that's real nourishment of the self. It's about what makes you your best version, what makes you your best self. So there are many examples of taking pauses, but the first one I want to explore with you is actually the power of breathing. And this is a small pause that can be taken at multiple times of the day and allows us to ground ourselves and approach situations from a calm and intuitive manner, and thus giving us the ability to respond rather than to react to things, which is a whole talk in itself. But just the difference between responding and reacting can come from a pause. So, for example, let's say you're in a bit of a heated discussion, let's call it, with anyone. It could be a co-worker, it could be a loved one. If you take that second to just pause, even while you're really angry, and take that breath, now what you say back to the other person is going to come from a space of response rather than a reaction. And that can change the whole dynamic of what can happen in the room. And that's how powerful a pause can be. So in order to just have a quick idea of what this is, I want you to take your left hand and put it on your heart, and take your right hand and put it on your stomach, if you feel comfortable doing so. And feel free to have cameras off if you want to. And this is, I do this exercise with my eyes open, because this is just a few seconds and how powerful it can be. So I just want you to breathe in slowly through your nose. And as you are breathing in, you'll feel your belly rising under your right hand, and then releasing through your mouth if you haven't already, so spoke when you're not hand. And feel the drop happening behind your right hand. And then just again, in through the nose, and dropping again out through the mouth. And just take a few moments just to repeat that now. If it feels appropriate, feel yourself, and it feels good, then sigh as you release the breath out through your mouth. You know, really let it go. Ah. Ooh. And if it feels right, please do close your eyes. And just connecting with yourself. This is all about the self. Now, there's ways to enhance just this very practice that we're doing now. One of the ways I like to do that is, and now I'll invite you to close your eyes. Imagine as the breath is going in that you're inhaling love and light and something beautiful, a beautiful feeling, a warm feeling. And as you breathe out through your mouth, you're expelling from your body anything that no longer serves it. Just as we expel the CO2, there are things in our bodies that we need to let go of. Maybe feel as your shoulders drop. Imagine the oxygen that's going in has little light particles. You can see in your mind's eye that light traveling around your body. And as you breathe out, you could also be releasing an emotion. It could be a physical pain. It could just simply be any tension, and just allow that sigh to release it. And if you haven't already, now close your eyes and breathe in slowly for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in again. And releasing, and slowly letting your arms fall back by your side to a natural position, opening your eyes and returning back to this room and back to the Zoom. And just a really quick pause. That was less than 2 minutes. In fact, you can do that in 30 seconds. So I didn't have to make it as long as it was. It could be a minute. You could do that for another couple of more minutes. And this is all variations of different pauses. And one of, so I too, like Zara, came from the corporate world. And sometimes the only way to stay sane in my old job, I was actually head of sales and marketing, Chris. So I'm really with you on the marketing side of things. Sometimes you're spinning a lot of plates in those positions, and you just need a minute to recalibrate, get yourself together, and then go back to spinning the 55 plates that are going on around you. And if you don't take that pause, sometimes you're watching the plates crash because then you're more in overwhelm. And just observe how you feel now. Just in that less than a couple of minutes. And it's something that we can then all find time for in the middle of the day, or multiple times of the day, and depending on what we do. And actually, even as creatives, sometimes we need to just take that pause because we get so absorbed into what we're doing. A lot of the time I speak to a lot of creative people that haven't eaten all day because they've been just sucked into the vortex of where they are, and what an amazing place it is to be. But sometimes a pause, how much more powerful would it make the work that we do if we've recalibrated, if we have more energy? So that was one of the techniques, and in many situations can help us feel grounded. And this takes me to my next space, which is, what is being grounded? Well, I'm going to use another technique with you now, and I'm going to invite you, I'm going to be doing a short meditation. I'm going to invite you to place both feet on the floor if you haven't got them already. And I want you to close your eyes. Get yourself comfortable, I should say, before you close your eyes. And then I just want you to imagine that your feet have these roots growing from them, like a tree, into the ground. And I want you to see these roots going through the floor, through the layers of the sediment, through the crystals, and all the way to the core of Mother Earth. In your mind's eye, see the earth and the roots connecting you to the core. Again, breathing in slowly. And this time, imagine that the breath that you breathe in is coming through the earth. You're pulling energy from Gaia, and it's traveling through your feet, through to your ankles, your calves. Inhale in again and see the energy going up your legs, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your stomach, your lower back, mid-back, torso. Breathe in again if you haven't. Keep breathing in and out. Seeing the energy going around your shoulders, all the way down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Breathing in again and feeling that energy go through to your neck, around your head. And now in your mind's eye, see your body pulsating with that wonderful light. Feel it moving around your body. Observe your body now. Do a scan of the body now. How do you feel? And take a moment here just to feel into our bodies. Really a thank you to yourself for being present in this moment. Have some appreciation for your body. And as you breathe out, release any tension that might still be stored within your body. And then slowly open your eyes and come back to the room. And just take a moment now to look around the room that you're in. Does anything look or feel a bit different? Raise hands into in a second, please. Do you somehow feel a bit calmer or clearer, or feel any different. And I invite you to share. I'm going to come to Chris if you want to unmute and share. That's great. Chris, Jemma, are you able to unmute Chris?
Chris? Was it Chris?
I thought he had his hand up.
No, I didn't have my hand up. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had a hand showing on you, so I was like, okay, I'll come to you. No worries.
Sure.
Well, anyway, if anyone does want to share, did they notice anything different in the room, or did they feel any differently after that really quick grounding that we just did?
It's one of my favorites. Thank you. It's funny, isn't it? Same room, different me now. You can feel the shift. Just calmer, more thankful for myself, just at peace and very accepting. Just all of the other stuff doesn't matter right now. Just me, just my own self, my own thoughts, my own love for myself, my own feelings. So it's really beautiful. So I really appreciated that.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I always find that I feel calmer after I've taken a pause. And that was a 5-minute meditation, guys. Usually I do that then for 10 minutes. I did look at the time and think, God, I went over, we've all gone over a bit in timing, because we were supposed to finish by 15:15, weren't we? So I was mindful to cut it down. But even in 5 minutes, amazing shifts can happen. And again, that's a slightly longer pause. So just to give some other examples before I totally run out of time, because I'm nearly at the end, there are other things you can do. One of them, I think I mentioned, was set an alarm to get a glass of water. One of the ones I love to do in my day, to take a pause in my day, is I put on my favourite song, and then I just jump around and dance to it for 5 minutes. Sometimes I even invite friends to do it with me on Zoom, so that I'm doing it in a collective, but it's taking a pause out of my day. It's whatever I'm doing for the day, I've now got something to shift my energy. And the great thing about that shift and putting on my favourite song and just not jumping up and dancing about is it gets my energy moving, and it shifts whatever stagnation that's happening, because sometimes I'm at the desk typing away for like 4 hours and then I need to physically move. So actually the power of the pause is also, how else can we take what we're doing to shift it up? How can we take a small break in action that actually shifts our energy to where we need to do it and channel it back in? And then when I sit back down, I'm actually really recharged and ready to go for the next 4 hours. So that's also a massive part of the power of the pause. I also find that the movement one is really great to use with children. I think Dee said she's got some, I don't know who else here's got kids, but sometimes they have a lot of extra energy stored in their bodies. One of my favorite things to do with my nieces is actually for them to do a bit of jumping around and expelling the energy. And I tend to do that just before their dinner, because for them, they have a routine. It's dinner, bath, bed. So it's just before dinner, we do a lot of like something physical, and it expels their energy. And I find that they express themselves better because they're allowing their bodies to dispel this extra energy, and it's a pause for them from all the other things and their routine when it happens with them. So it's something that can also add a bit of variety to your day. And that's one of the sort of core things, according to Tony Robbins, is to add variety, because it's what a lot of us need in order to feel that we're doing something different, or to keep ourselves interested in what we're doing. You can take longer pauses. You can take a 10-minute pause, go onto YouTube and do a meditation. I have one of my favorites is actually a 20-minute power nap, using binaural beats. And then that's something that Jemma and I have talked about as well, the power of music and how that can just be a great little pause in between, but also helps to engage both sides of your brain. And it's a pause in your day. And I used to use this a lot when I was working in the corporate office, because the day is non-stop and go, go, go. But that 20-minute power nap, I used to get up from that in my life. At one point, I started to actually take a lunch break. It was great. That time I'd do my 20-minute power nap. but I'd get up from that and I would be ready for yet another 8 hours of work. So it was actually so conducive to my day. And this is also where I encourage anyone, however busy you are, please schedule in your pauses. Because actually what they do is they empower you to go for longer. And we think that actually, no, if we stop them, we'll get distracted, or if we do this, then this might not happen. But it's so important for us to keep our energy level where we want it to be. And how do we do that? How do we give ourselves more opportunity to actually do more? That's what most of us want more of in the day. How can we do more of what we want? Which is how I phrased it when I sent this out in a bunch of groups. How do you get more of what you want through the power of the pause? By just putting a pause in. Because if you really look at your day, where do you pause? Where do you just stop for a second and take a minute? Even if it's a second to go, right, I'm going to take a pause right now to just give thanks to my body. Just give thanks for the sunshine today. You know, I'm going to set 30-second timer and I'm going to see how many birds I can hear tweeting in the next 30 seconds. You know, these are all really great little techniques that we can use that can really, 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 really be used as a reset and for us to have really wonderful days. So give yourself the opportunity to recharge and make sure you have a day that pops. And that's me. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm here for any questions you might have. I love that Jemma's just disappeared. Now Chris has got his hand up, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to, Jemma would probably expect me to talk about going for a walk. And I think going for a walk, I mean, it can be quite a long pause, you know, most of the afternoon usually. But there's something about the rhythm of walking that informs us. But the thing I really want to mention is washing up.
Yes.
Because washing up, it can be a chore or it can be a pause.
Yeah.
And indeed, any other, you know, it's different from what you've been doing. You know, if you've been sat at a computer all day, standing up over the sink. But the real power of washing up, my parents fell in love, got married, and they were still in love when my mother died about 35 years later. And the thing they did every day was the washing up. They did it together.
Oh.
And that was their time. So and the reason I'm mentioning this is that it isn't always necessarily just about you as an individual. It can be, if there are important relationships in your life, sharing the pause, I think it can be really important.
That's amazing. Thank you for that, Chris. It's amazing. Amazing to think how we can take something as chore-like and make it into something that's just joyful. And it is a break in state. And actually it goes back to that definition, doesn't it? It's a temporary stop to an action. So if your action was sitting at the computer, doing washing up is definitely a pause. And it's great, you feel satisfied that there's a job done at the end of it too.
Yeah, I was just pausing a little bit so that we can digest what's been said. There's so many good pointers. I don't think I can add much more, to be honest. So I think we'll wrap it up. But Samy, if you could share how people can find you on social media and any other places.
Thank you for that, Jemma. I'm so bad at doing that. Right. So I think somebody's connected with me already, but we have on Instagram, it's NOMNOY Living. Spent NOMNOY. Just remember nourishment on me equals nourishment on you to get the initials. And Facebook's the same. There's a NOMNOY group, and I'm in Jemma's Creatives Connect. So please do come and find me there. I'm Samy at NOMNOY. If you look in the WhatsApp participants, and I do also run a group every day, a NOMNOY group that has a share of a affirmation, some gratitude, and setting the intention for the day. And I would call that people sharing a moment of pausing, taking a pause to go, what am I grateful for today? You know, just taking that minute out. And I do that every single day, and I find I do it for myself. I love the fact that I only share what I'm sharing for myself. It's not for anyone else, but it winds up nourishing others. Oh, Jemma, you're a star. Thanks for sticking that link in. I don't even know how to do that. And if anyone wants to join that group, then please do just reach out. I will happily add you in. We also do a 10-minute meditation. There is a 10-minute meditation link sent every weekday in that group. And up until the end of this week, it will still be run at 9:30 every weekdays. And then I'm taking a break for a little while from next week for running the morning meeting, but it will be reinstated soon. I just will be coming back with when that happens. I hope that was right. What have I forgotten? I need to pause.
No, you don't need to. That was absolutely fine. I'm just adding some links to the group.
I'm actually really excited because the Learning to Fly, which is the Learning to First Love Yourself course, and so it's either an online course, which we do as a group in a group setting. There's a one-to-one workshop where you come to that healing room and you experience that in an afternoon. And now the retreat, the Learning to Fly retreat, will be launching in the next couple of weeks, and I'm so super excited about that. So I'll let you guys know through Creatives Connect are available.
Yes, I've just put a link to my group, so I don't know if I don't think I can add people to your group, but you can share that individually if anyone wants it, or you can share it now.
Is it okay if I share the link to the group in your
in my group? Yes.
In your group. Okay, I can do that.
Fabulous.
I know how to do that.
Yes.
Figured out how to copy the chat and stick it on my
I can do the same. I can do the same with mine, and I'll just share the link so anyone can. Because this is the thing as well, is that when we try and do things by ourselves and, you know, build our charities or businesses or whatever we're running by ourselves, it can be more stressful. Whereas if we come together, like Chris said, and we share those moments together, it just supports everybody. It makes us feel less alone, makes us feel more supported and more cared for, and it's just more fun as well. Yeah, so thank you so much. And if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, if I've sent you a link, then make sure you subscribe to Creative Hearts, and also to my Instagram, creativehearts.coach, and my music pages, Jemma Rosenthal. And our podcast is called Find, Tell, Share. There's lots of stories on there. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you. Will stop the recording.